Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Talking About Birds, the only Cardinal podcast asked to put their tarps back on. My name is Nate Heininger, and I am joined by my co-host, Vince Amorco.
That's not true. They want to see the bot.
If you have an idea for the opening bit, text or leave us a voicemail at 848-48-BIRDS. Hambone, how you doing today? You're in a unique recording setup, which is not that new to us on the show, but can you break us down what you're doing right now?
Unique New York. Unique New
Red
York.
leather, yellow leather.
I'm, well, first off, Nate, it's a lovely day here in Denver, Colorado. It's a little gloomy. Temperature's great, though.
Love that.
I know people, it's mid-50s right now, and I am getting work done on my house, and these guys are drilling. They're essentially cutting a huge hole in the ceiling that is about 6 feet from where I normally record. So I thought rather than deal with that, like I said, it's a lovely day. You can hear some loud bangs and crack. There's a plane going over right now. You might be able to hear that too. So
I don't hear any of it.
Okay, well, yeah, maybe this was poorly conceived, but I thought it'd be nice to just record outside rather than try to fight through that.
He's holding his microphone like a broadcaster. I assume so. 6 foot hole. You're installing some sort of fireman pole type thing, so you don't want to use the stairs anymore.
Are you implying that firemen are lazy?
No, but I think in your situation,
anti-fireman Nate Heininger. That's shocking.
That'd be a pretty unique take. I don't think is there anyone that's
universally beloved.
Like maybe the one job that everyone is like, yeah, all right, that's a pretty good guy, or gal. We like a fire person.
Yeah, well, I like a fire person. No, that'd be dope. We're getting this is so uninteresting and nobody cares about this. We're getting a house fan installed. So that we can suck in the cold air from outside and push the warm air out. I live in a very old house, and it is a thermos. So, yeah, I'm sure people care about that. But if you want to know more about a house fan, reach out to talkingaboutbirds@gmail.com. And I've learned a lot recently.
Great.
Attic fans and house fans are different. Did you know that?
I don't have an attic. So I've never bothered to research attic-related information.
God forbid you learn something, Nate. Jeez.
Yeah, no. If it's not relevant to me and my personal life and my experiences, then I'm frankly just not interested in it.
That makes sense. Yeah.
And I think that's a good way to live.
Wow.
We got to talk about Tarps off, Hambone. It's sweeping the nation.
It actually is.
It's so funny. It's such a last week we were so innocent. We were so naive to the future. We had no idea that over the span of 7 days, our entire lives as Cardinal fans would change.
I don't know. I feel like you're being I don't know. Are you being overly dramatic? Or are you being very I feel like you're not taking this seriously. Not taking it as seriously as it should be taken.
I'm deadly serious about it.
Okay.
I mean, it's a lot of fun, right? I mean, how can this be anything but fun and representative of the current vibe of the team?
I think I threw this out in the Birdscord, but I think we have officially defeated the male loneliness epidemic in one weekend. It's over.
I'll tell you, when they show the Tarps off crowd, I feel like I gotta wear sunglasses. It certainly seems to be a coalescence of the whitest boys in America are all there in right field, just gleaming in the sun or in the bright lights of the ballpark.
I like that it is like baseball, Jose Altuve and Aaron Judge can both play the same game and be successful. Anybody can go Tarps off. Maybe it's overwhelmingly white, but the shapes and sizes are
Oh yeah,
across a wide swath, and I love that. I think it's beautiful.
It certainly seems to be a welcoming crowd. I don't want to imply anything otherwise. It's just it's very funny to me. But I genuinely am a big fan of it. We've lamented that baseball in the United States is at least from a fan perspective is quite tame compared to baseball played everywhere else in the world. It is like a raucous, fun environment if you go to a baseball game anywhere else. And this is the closest I've seen Bush, at least, to that sort of thing. And I'm super into it. Like, I don't know that this version of it is going to sustain of like an entire section of the ballpark full of 20-year-olds with their shirts off. But like,
I mean, why not, though?
We're in
they have nowhere to be. They have no, nothing tethering them down. Like why not show up to the ballpark and sit in the bleachers and take your shirt off?
I mean, we're getting in like the second inning of a tied game in May. You've got chants of MVP, or there was a great Pirates suck chant going on last night, just complete like playoff level atmosphere for a random game in May. Like, I think it's incredible. And I really hope that it maintains, because like this is such an antidote to the staleness of what we've seen in the game, and pair that with the winning team and the overall vibe, and got that dog in them and all that. Like, I don't know. I think it's great. I think it's a ton of fun.
And I think it's, maybe we can do a end of season retrospective at some point, but I wonder, like, is it the nature of the team, the Jordan Walker and Masyn Winn, JJ Weatherholt youth injection that has led to these boys taking their nips out, or was it going to happen either way? Did it take both of the, like, did it all have to come together? Like, why now, is my question.
Yeah.
And I also, the way that the team embracing it is definitely unique to, I think, the 2026 Cardinals. Like, I don't think the boys are coming down into the clubhouse and hanging out in the locker room last year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if Mo is allowing that to happen. I don't know if Nolan Arenado is allowing that to happen. And I am projecting wildly right now, but that is my outsider read of the situation. And it's interesting.
Nolan Arenado doing quite well for the Diamondbacks, by the way. I don't know if you've noticed, he's really broken out of a early season slump and looking okay for them.
I was diving through the like StatCast numbers and all that. And it's like nothing different is happening. He's maybe swinging a little bit less. Ballpark is an improvement.
Yeah.
But he's also not playing amazing defense so far. But I was a little annoyed by that. But, it is what it is. Busch Stadium's hard to hit.
We all saw it coming, right? So anyway, I've done no research on this, but from my understanding, this actually was something that was happening at like a Texas game, like a football game.
Who could say? Who has the time to know that?
Who has the time? But it like started there, the shirts off thing, and then it was just like one row of guys at that game on Friday night, and it expanded to the entire section, and then here we are 5 days later, and it's like a whole thing, which is great. I'm going to the game tonight, for the Girl Scouts Day at the park. So I don't know that Tarps off will be my vibe as I sit with that crowd, but I'm excited
you could walk over and pop off for an inning or two.
Possibly. We'll see. I'm not against it. I was wondering,
you could add to the white nature of
gleaming
your concave chest, shining light, blinding the batter.
Are you a Tarps off guy? Are you there's like, we all know people who just like pop their top off at any opportunity. Do you feel like you're a Tarps off guy?
No, and it's not my vibe. at the pool. I'm not going to wear my shirt in the water. I'm not that kind of guy.
Sure.
But I do
Sure.
think I don't want to rain on anyone's parade, but it is totally not my thing where I would lean in any way. But I do think pools, the beach, and
Sure.
you know what? If
Showers.
you're having a good, I do think that you don't need to. Normal societal norms are not always applicable in a sporting environment. So I am not offended by it or anything like that. I will say, if I'm being 100% honest with myself, if I was seated next to the Tarps Off crew, I might move. But that's me being, myself. And
what the hell is this?
Like, well, boys, I'm trying to watch. And they are watching the game, and they are locked in.
They're in. Yeah.
But,
that's part of it. Their chants are relevant. Their chants are relevant to the moment. They're living ball to strike.
100%. And I'm just not a 23-year-old. I when I was 23, I bet you nips out screaming, chugging Budweisers. And it pains me to say, I think I've aged out of the Tarps Off crew,
aged out. Go on, boys.
I do think, and maybe it's from a place of jealousy. We don't have the time to dive into this, but the guy who's looking for any excuse to pop the tarp off, in any situation, I'm like, buddy, it's attention-seeking behavior.
Yeah. Also, not my vibe. I think I probably would be the same as you.
Yeah.
But again, I think I've made it quite clear. Like I'm all for this, but myself popping the tarp.
There's a machismo that I know I lack, and I'm just, I'm not that guy, and I've made peace with that a while ago.
Well, we're here for it. I am wondering how long it will go. Like, is this something that can sustain through a losing streak? Is this just these boys? They must have a frat house to return to at some point, or is this going to become just a
school's out for summer, baby?
Thing? Yeah.
So I mean, I'm sure Cardinals tickets are fairly cheap right now. I know they got that like $25 deal or whatever, where you can eat 1,000 hot dogs for $25 or whatever. Like,
that's up in Big Mac land though. So
okay, I also think like those guys are having fun, win, lose, or draw. So like, when is that going to stop being fun? I don't know. I think it might be here for a little bit. I was surprised they were there last night.
I know. That's why I thought it was, Friday night is like, okay, this is a thing. I expected to go through the weekend. But yeah, just a random Tuesday night game against the Pirates. They're screaming at every strike call, at every ball, they're in it. And I love it. And the Cardinals are continuing to play well. They are, as we stand, they're 28-19, 9 games above 500, tied for second place. We'll talk about the upcoming series here in a minute, but they are going through a run of NL Central matchups here. So like the division standings are very much at play as the Cardinals are playing well. Obviously, it's only May. And we'll reiterate, last year at the end of May, the Cardinals were 8 games above 500. There's still a whole lot of baseball to play before these standings start to really lock in. But regardless, under any metric, this is considerably better than anyone expected them to be at this point. And it certainly, maybe I'm just riding the Tarps Off vibe, the big dog in them vibe or whatever, but like, the energy is there, and it feels like this team is actually good. Now, whether they'll be this good for the whole season, we'll find out. There's a lot of games to go.
I think it's the nature of having the youngest position player group in baseball. It's like Ivan Herrera and Jordan Walker and Masyn Winn and all these guys. Like, most people in the industry are like, these guys will probably continue to get better because they're 24 years old.
Yeah.
Or 25 years old. It makes traditionally baseball players get better around this age bracket, and they're showing real signs of progress. And like, I think you should, everybody should be really worried and holding their breath pretty much anytime any pitcher is on the mound for the Cardinals. But I mean, the offense and the defense are legit, and the pitching is trending right. I don't think that I'm not placing any bets on Kalshi for the
What?
Cardinals to win the Central.
I mean, we're of course. Well, hold on. Let's be clear. We're of
I'm
course
betting on other
placing
things.
we're doing our daily betting. Please, I hope all of our listeners are betting. Bet every day, bet hard, bet everything, every day.
Yeah.
Don't ever not be betting.
Yeah. Bet early,
That's what
bet
we
often.
know.
But
bet hard.
I don't know. I'm feeling like we talked about this early in the year. We got those 28 wins. They're banked, Nate. They can't take those away from us.
Yep.
So
they can't try to take them from me.
Yeah.
We're
gonna have to have.
That's my.
There's probably a really bad month of baseball in this team at some point, but hasn't happened yet.
You know who's playing well right now? I mean, this guy's near and dear to our heart. We've actually, we've been dealing with an infection for years now that's waxed and waned as we've applied our various creams. But the Gormania is spreading right now.
Really is.
How you feeling about Nolan Gorman?
I don't know how to feel about Nolan Gorman because it is, when it's bad, it is unwatchable. It is unplayable. Yeah. It is a black hole. The good news is, and I think I've finally come around to this, and I think other people probably came around to this sooner, is that the defense is looking a lot better at third base this year, which means he's not completely unplayable. He's the pirouette, I think is what they call it on the broadcast, but the ranging scoop 360 spin throw to first, I'm enjoying that. That's a good time. Especially from a big old boy that doesn't really look super athletic out there. But I'm enjoying that. I think the third base defense is solid.
Yeah, he's currently 83rd percentile in outs above average at 2. It's a big red bar on StatCast. I don't think anyone would have anticipated a big red bar for him in that category.
And I think with
it's good.
The clarity of sitting here on May 20th while the Cardinals are playing pretty well and being able to say, oh yeah, he probably should have never been playing second base. That probably totally screwed with everything, messed up his development. That all makes a lot of sense to say now. And I think we were bending over backwards to give him accolades for even being able to play a passable second base. But I think he's looking a lot better over there. And the fact of the matter is he has a 135 WRC plus in May right now. In May, he's also leading the team in exit velocity, barrels, hard hit percentage, and his wOBA, the expected wOBA, weighted on base, is 427 in the month of May, which is MVP level.
That's it's hard to get much better than that. That's like Juan Soto peak sort of stuff. Which obviously he's not going to sustain, but.
No. And actually what's funny is he's doing he's got a 135 WRC plus this month, and the expected stats are actually saying he is underperforming by quite a bit. He hit a bomb last night. His WRC plus on the season is sitting at 99. Obviously that's trending up. So I don't know what to think. Is this long runway? Is he actually having the time and the at-bats to do the thing that we, thought he could do a couple of years ago when he hit those 27 bombs? And I couldn't believe they said it on the broadcast last night. He has 80 career home runs. I would have undershot that by half, maybe, if I was just guessing. Maybe it's happening, a month where it's right at 60 plate appearances. And we've said this 80 times this year, but any baseball player can do anything over 60 plate appearances.
Yeah.
Is it real? Is it not? I don't know, but he's doing it right now. All the metrics look good. He's walking. He's hitting the ball hard. He's got a good launch angle. The defense is looking solid. Obviously, his vibes are great. I've really enjoyed the, I don't know if you've noticed this on the post game, the very slow Gatorade jug pour that he's doing. It's always Gorman, and it's always in half speed. It's very, very slow and deliberate.
He makes me he kind of looks like a bully from an 80s movie, but comes off as quite the opposite. By all accounts, he's a fantastic vibes guy. He just, you can't control what your face looks like, but he just looks like a bully to me, like someone who's going to come and flip you upside down and take your lunch money. But he seems to be quite a pleasant, nice guy. So I don't want to.
I think that's a little nady projection on this guy. don't think another thing we don't have the
maybe
time to dig into right now.
Yeah. Maybe I want him to pick me up and take my
Hey,
lunch money. I don't know.
and that's fine. There's
But yeah,
nothing
I mean,
wrong with that.
here's the thing with Nolan Gorman has always been he's incredibly streaky. When he's right, he looks like the best hitter in baseball, and when he's wrong, it looks unplayable. The
Yeah.
good defense does make you feel a little bit better about those cold stretches. But at the end of the day, he has to be able to hit consistently. So we'll find out. Here's another round of Gorman crushing it. It has been a while since we've seen this, so it's quite good. I think a lot of us were a little worried that he was cooked after the 2 months of pretty bad play last year, and then the 1 month of bad play to start this year. You're like, okay, maybe it's just done. We have enough of a MLB understanding at this point to move on. And it was even starting to maybe go that a little way with Urias getting more plate appearances and whatnot. Yeah. But now we're seeing it again. It's like, okay, he's doing it again. So is this just another wave and it's going to collapse again? Or I don't know. To be fair to him, this is his first time really that's like, buddy, third base is yours. It could be all season. It could be short. It depends on your play. It's never really been that. Even last year, it was like Arenado will be back at some point. You better make it work while you have it, So this is a little different. And obviously the vibes on the team are different. The hitting approach has been different. Like there's enough to say this is different. Maybe this time the wave of good Gorman will last longer or be more sustainable or whatever. I don't know. But it's certainly good to see it happening again. And it fundamentally improves this lineup in a way that, that really starts to project this offense as good and not just hot.
Yeah. And it just, Nolan Gorman being good really, like, I feel like third base is probably, and maybe I would, if I were to think about this answer longer, I would disagree with this, but third base organizationally is kind of the weakest spot. Like we're talking about, well, maybe Blaze Jordan could be a viable third baseman, like if the bat carries.
Yeah.
Nolan Gorman just being a good third baseman with good power and a lefty power bat to kind of slot in and around Ivan and Jordan Walker solves a ton of issues for the foreseeable future. He's only 26. He still has control. He still, I think, if he keeps ascending, I mean, super crazy projectable, right? Like we've talked about it, like the power is, when the power is actually making contact,
there's no one else
it's
on
legit.
The team. Yeah. There's no one else on the team. Even Walker doesn't project this type of power. This sort of launch angle, towering bombs, left-handed bat, it's like it could be lineup changing. And it has been in May. He's a part of the reason why the Cardinals continue to win.
Yeah, and
so we'll see. It's fun though.
Yeah, it is a lot of fun. Just the idea of like, when you talking Newt coming back, Gorman actually being a viable, you're talking a pretty deep lineup. In between from JJ to Gorman or however you want to frame it, but it's looking better and better.
Well, let's talk about, I guess, some things that are not going as well, which is really the very bottom part of the lineup. All of our would-be utility players and our center field. So we've got Scott, Fermín, Pagés, and Sajacy have all been pretty rough. I guess I'll say, like, it's a good thing if our 8 and 9 hitters are the problem. What team isn't dealing with that to some degree? But here in a rebuild year, or whatever this year is at this point, you do want to look for solutions there, right? There's no need to keep running out problems. What are you thinking with this group?
And I wonder, I wonder if I'm like, because the Cardinals are winning and are, other than Victor Scott, like, how much of the future are you putting on Pagés and Sajacy and, even Fermín? I don't know. The problem is Fermín doesn't have an option. So if you want to move on from him, you're moving on from him. Everybody else has options. So is it time to be kind of doing this rotation, there's also this nature of, like, we talked about this in the past couple of weeks. The Cardinals aren't utilizing their bench as much because so many players have just been playing well. So why swap them out or replace them defensively or anything like that? So I don't know if it's like, am I being impatient? But I do think it is noticeable that those guys have been completely, I mean, just useless. They're like, none of them has really gotten hot. Obviously Pagés has hit a couple of homers, which is great to see, and we like his defense generally. But I do wonder, like, if Sajacy is going to, he's got 16 plate appearances in the month of May right now. And he's got a -6 WRC plus. Obviously he's got a little bit of speed and a little bit of defense. So, like, there's some utility to having a player like that. But if you think Thomas Sajacy is going to be a good player or has value, does it make sense to just kind of not really use him on the major league roster or swap him out for somebody else who maybe provides something different, maybe is hot in AAA right now? We talked about Brian Torres a little bit last week. Like, does it make sense to do that? Or the vibes are good. Keep these guys where they're at. Don't rock the boat and just keep kind of chugging along until something breaks.
Yeah, I think it is kind of a case-by-case basis. I think we kind of know the plan with Pagés, right? The vibes are good. He's definitely not going to lose you a game. He hits a dinger every once in a while. He's serving as a good catcher, his primary responsibility, especially when the rest of the team is hitting so well. He's sort of the consummate, backup catcher role. And the Cardinals have 3 major catching prospects in the minors, all at different levels. We're just waiting for the right one to pop up. Was there some sort of bird just pestering you or something? You were looking quite distracted.
I live near a hospital, and there was an emergency helicopter flying over top, and it seemed like he was just circling around above my house, but I think he was going to save a life.
They just saw you down there, like, oh God, he's in distress.
I found it inconvenient. And now he's coming back. Yeah, he is just hovering right above us. So, just a little bit distracted, and I'm sure that's being picked up on the mic a little bit, but we got a little helicopter.
I'll be sure to update the listeners if you get medevaced randomly here in the middle of the episode.
They're just
God, what's wrong with him down there?
That's not very nice. I'm fine.
Pagés, I think, makes sense. Victor Scott, it kind of is what we have. 2 outfielders, one in Nootbaar and another in Josh Baez, that we predict to possibly be the future of the team. Just neither of them are ready yet, and there's still, the dream stays alive with Victor Scott. He's still very young. Maybe something clicks at some point. And then, like, Fermín and Sajacy, I don't know. Maybe a Brian Torres or something like that. But it seems to me like there's not someone beating down the door for that bench utility role that they're currently fulfilling. So why impact someone's development at the minor league level to replace them?
Yeah. And I think that's where I land. But I just wanted to bring it up because they have been, obviously, most people's bottom of the lineup is not productive, and that's why those players are at the bottom of the lineup. But these guys have been pretty exceptionally bad recently, or unproductive recently. And, there is optionality with all those guys except for Fermín. I think I agree, though, Victor Scott, just because of the defensive ceiling that he has. And, like, how great was it to be have a ghost runner on second and that player be Victor Scott, which ended up not mattering because Ivan Herrera hit a homer, a huge one.
Absolute jack. I was surprised they didn't send him on Weatherholt's hit in the first place, but it makes sense. Don't want to make that out at home. But it's Victor Scott. It's like, probably he's going to beat the throw.
Of all players in Major League Baseball, that is the best person to have on second base in extra innings. Yeah.
Yeah. And hey, we've seen teams carry just a designated runner. If your lineup is really good and you aren't actually using the bench as much as other teams, there is value in having one of the fastest players in baseball on your bench. So maybe that's where Victor Scott ends up landing, is this like super utility defense speed guy, not usually what a rebuilding team carries, right. But if we're actually a competitive team, then there's a reason to have that.
Yeah, and that's the I think we'll have this conversation all year. Like, are we competitive? I don't
Hopefully.
know. What does Heim Bloom think? At what point do you actually push in? When does it make sense to be more aggressive?
Well,
I don't know if I have an answer.
We did get a little insight on that from an interview with Derek Gould, which we can keep this brief, as I think this will be a constant conversation. But, one thing that Heim Bloom mentioned is that they do have some potential availability to bring in players at the deadline that have really high dollar contracts. Like we joked in the Birdscord, maybe go get a Sonny Gray. Wouldn't that be funny? Yeah. We end up trading for Sonny Gray. So he's clearly thinking about what options would look like, because he said they don't want to trade from their depth. So that makes sense. That would be a decision that would undercut the entire process they've been going into. But if they want to compete, there's a way to do that with adding veteran players that are too expensive for other teams, and you don't have to give up that much. So interesting.
Yeah. It is crazy. It seems like Heim Bloom's superpower is getting the DeWitts to understand how to properly use their money to run a modern baseball team. And I'm not throwing shade at John Mozeliak, but it makes me really wonder what the conversations were like. And like, were there conversations like this in the last few years? Is Heim Bloom just really convincing? Is his PowerPoint skills, are they better? It's very interesting to me, because it seems obvious from where I'm sitting.
Well, it's just very modern roster management thinking, and Mierzewski had been doing it for 25 years and self-admitted it had kind of fallen behind, So let's move on. Let's talk about
called us, man. Should have called us.
I know, we're right here,
and we're cheap.
Hambo's about to be medevaced. You better call it quick.
No kidding.
Let's talk about Matthew Liberatore. Is he breaking out? Is he deeply unlucky? Is he bad? We're getting a little bit of everything from him right now. You put together a little run of stats here. Why don't you run through it real quick to set a baseline?
Yeah. So for this week, he had 2 starts. He went 9 2/3 innings combined. He had 14 Ks over that time. He also gave up 16 hits and 8 earned runs. His fielding independent pitching was 2.63. His ERA was 7.45. Massive delta in between his ERA, his actual stats, and his projected stats. Now, what's interesting is he also had a .536 batting average on balls in play over this time, which is almost triple what you would expect for any pitcher to have at any given time. So is he taking a step forward? Because I will say, from a stuff perspective, it's looked pretty solid the past, even I would go back as far as a month. And the strikeouts are showing you that. I think the way that other hitters are reacting are showing that. Is it the 1 inning thing? Is he actually not as good as his numbers are suggesting and some of the performance are suggesting? Is it, we used to call it a Linning back in the Lance Lynn early days when he would have a meltdown inning? Is it that? Is he losing focus? Like, it's hard to, like, we talk about the idea of like progression is never linear for these guys. And this is like maybe the biggest, like, in game, he's clearly doing something extra special, striking out a ton of guys, and then the next inning, it's just not happening. And what is that is changing? What is plaguing him? Why is he all of a sudden not the guy that just struck out the side? How can that flip-flop like that?
Well, I do think, man, it's hard not to just chalk it all up. If we're looking at the sample size that we're talking about right now, the last 2 games, where it seemed like everything was coming together, and then all of a sudden it was not. It's really hard to just not put it all into BABIP. I mean, a 536 BABIP, especially against one of the best defensive teams in baseball, is just so incredibly unlucky. And the FIP shows that too. A 2.6 FIP, which means, if you're unfamiliar, you would expect his ERA should have been somewhere around 2.5, when in fact it was 5.5, 7.5. It's just, it's hard not to lump it all into, he just got really, really unlucky in a couple innings.
Right.
The only reason you would maybe argue against that, because the data is pretty clear that that's just what it is that this seems to happen kind of regularly for him, right? He gets into the 6th inning and it all sort of starts to fall apart. So I guess my assumption here is that it's a little bit of both. There's something in his conditioning or whatever. I don't want to place any diagnostics on him. I don't know his life. But there's something that is preventing him from being able to pitch the exact same quality that he did at the beginning of the game as he is at the end of the game. It's been pretty consistent at this point. So I don't know. Maybe the Cardinals should take a Rays approach like they had done, like they would do with their pitchers and Blake Snell and stuff like that, where you're giving us 5 elite innings and that's it. I don't want to put that on him already. He's a young guy. You'd like to see him be able to go 6, 7, 8 or whatever. Of course, not in my ideal pitching setup, but under the current confines of expectations around starting pitchers, you'd like to see him go 6 or 7 more regularly. Because there's obviously something there.
The counter argument is, how's he going to learn to go 6 or 7 innings if he doesn't just keep trying to do it and then getting mollywopped half the time or all the time?
Yeah, totally.
So I don't have
just let him keep doing it.
Yeah, I don't have a solution, and I think that's the benefit of the year that we're having right now. The young guys, Tarps off, let Libby keep pitching, and maybe he figures it out. But I will say, from a stuff perspective, when his breaking balls are on and the fastball was working the way it was in his last start, I am
good.
I am addicted to the upside. Let's just keep trying to get whatever that is.
We love a curveball, don't we, folks?
Oh.
All right, let's talk about the return of Matt Pushard. He's back.
Is it Pushard?
It's Pushard. I just think it's funny to call him Pushard.
I don't know if we ever actually said that it's actually Pushard, but I think it's Pushard too.
Yeah. I think it's Pushard. Yeah. I think everyone else.
It makes more sense.
Him. Yeah. If you look at it, it's got to be.
Which
Pushard.
I do all the time.
I'm looking at it right now. So he's defying your, expectations here, where you would directly accuse the St. Louis Cardinals of breaking MLB rules to keep him in the minors for an extended period of time. He is here. What are you thinking about old Pushard here?
It is very interesting, Nate. I went back and looked at his pitch mix from last season when he was in AAA with the Miami Marlins, and he was really leaning on his fastball curveball. Was his main combination. He was throwing his curveball over 25% of the time, basically completely gotten rid of the curveball, throwing it less than 1% of the time in his little tune-up in AAA and now coming into the big leagues. And it looks like he's leaning heavily on a slider-sweeper combo. He's thrown the sweeper before, but has now basically become, other than his four-seam, become his main pitch. So I think there was a little bit to what I was talking about. When did this start? When did the Cardinals identify it? How did all that go down? I don't know. But his pitch mix is different now. We'll see. He's only had one appearance in the bigs so far. We'll see if this sticks around or not. But the Cardinals are making him throw the sweeper. He never threw it before. We'll see if it's any good.
Yeah. Well, the bullpen rotation continues. This is part of the season. It's been good. I think there is reason to be optimistic about him. Obviously, the Cardinals went and got him for a reason. And it's always interesting when you see an organization tinker with a pitch mix. That's one of the things that we see across the board is one organization's perspective on what they should be throwing can be very different than someone else. And sometimes that's the missing key. So, and thus far, we've been pretty confident in the Cardinals pitching staff or pitching coaching staff. And I don't know, it's compelling.
I mean, you look at George Soriano and what he's done, and I know we talked about it last week, but he threw 4 or 5 changeups in last night's game and Tuesday night's game, where I'm like, this guy is. I mean, this is Devin Williams level airbender nastiness, and then of course, he's got the 97 on the corner. He's looking really good. He's starting to throw that changeup right on right. I kind of I have full faith in the Cardinals front office to bring in interesting guys with interesting pitch mixes and make them better.
Which they've been good at for a while now, even before this season. So, pretty interesting.
Yeah, Riley O'Brien was acquired by Mierzewski.
Yeah.
So,
so was Swanson.
Yeah. So, when he's,
I know, but
love for Swanson to turn that around, but, cool.
Okay. Well, in a corresponding move, the Cardinals designated Jared Shuster for assignment, so he continues to ride the taxi. I think we got a few injury updates to run through here before we head to the second half.
I think we can do these quickly. Masyn Winn, obviously out last night's game. Not sure if he's going to play in today's game. We're recording Wednesday afternoon. Little left knee discomfort expected to return at some point this week, hopefully. Nothing I'm too concerned with. Cesar Prieto getting a little start in short, which is interesting. Would love to see him have a good game. I think that would be a lot of fun. Just like a little 3-hitter for Prieto would be a lot of fun for me. Nootbaar has officially started his rehab, which has been great. He's got 3 games under his belt so far, a couple of hits, a homer, and a walk. I think he hit a homer in his first at-bat. Really, I'm really curious how long the Cardinals are going to give him, especially if he's being successful in his little rehab start, how long it's going to be till he gets back here. And then, we're going to have a huge conversation about where does he fit? Obviously, he's going to start. To me, it's pretty clear that he's going to be in left field. Where does he hit in the lineup? Whose spot does he take? Whose at-bats is he taking? What do you do with center field? Is it Nathan Church? Is it you're just going to split the time? I don't know what that looks like, but I'm very excited for that day.
I am too. We've talked a lot about him and another fundamental change to the lineup he could bring. I think they will likely bring him in slowly, which will aid in this transition, whatever it is. Even though he seems to be playing quite well in rehab, I think he'll probably start every other day to start, or maybe a couple days in a row, then a day off. I just don't imagine he's going to go into full starter mode right out of the gates. It's literally both of his feet. It's like the thing you keep people off of if they're hurt. So, I think there's no reason to rush him back. They've obviously taken their time with the rehab. At least the guys that he would be replacing are both stellar defense, and the rest of the team is hitting well enough that they don't need those guys to crush. We kind of already talked about that. So why rush it? Let's let him get comfortable, let him get back in, and then hopefully become a new key part of the lineup. I'm thinking, we've talked about this a little bit in the Birdscord. Is it time to rethink the top of the lineup if Nootbaar's back and playing well? It's a good question. Or is he just another bat to put in front of Gorman and with a high OBP, and you let that second part of the lineup all of a sudden be its own run generating situation?
My gut kind of tells me I think it should be Walker 4, Newt 5, Winn 6, Gorman 7. But maybe you want Gorman higher up in that.
If he's got a 440 ex wOBA, you put him 4, and put I think there's some good arguments to be made for Walker even going into like the 2-hole, or I know Jake in the Birdscord has lobbied. Is it time to do what some of the other organizations are doing by just putting your best hitter at 1 and say, deal with it? You got to get past him to start the game, which is interesting.
I don't hate that idea at all. I do like the left, right, left, right, left, right that we
Yeah,
are able to. So I think as long as we're sticking to that, I think it makes a lot of sense. I do like the JJ Weatherholt Nootbaar type hitter at the top, the guy that
yeah,
has traditionally held a super high OBP, grinds people down. I love that. I'm not going to get mad about Jordan Walker leading off though, especially with
sure.
like the power speed combo, which is one of the best in baseball right now. He can be wherever he wants, and I'm sure we would be
Yeah,
successful and enjoy that with the way that he's been playing. So yeah, really, really don't no strong or held no strongly held opinions on specifically
yeah.
as long as we keep the left right thing going.
Yeah, I'm personally not too precious at all about lineup construction. I think it doesn't have a huge impact. The biggest
No,
difference is amount of plate appearances that someone gets in a season, which I think is also why you have like Ohtani bat first. He gets the most amount of plate appearances in a season by batting first, and you
yeah,
obviously benefit by having Ohtani have the most amount of plate appearances.
yeah,
That said, the data suggests that generally speaking, on any given season, one lineup spot is about 18 total plate appearances different than the one next to it. So Ohtani batting first gets him 18 more plate appearances than whoever's batting second, which is not a huge amount when you're talking about 700 plate appearances. But the difference between sixth and first or something like that, that can have a pretty big difference. So that's where you start to look at like, well,
right.
Nootbaar, do we want him to get 50 more plate appearances than JJ or Herrera or whoever he would take over by being
Yeah,
in the top half?
yeah.
Um,
Hopefully,
all interesting.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I want to hit a couple of minors numbers really quick, and then we can get going or keep moving. Jimmy Crooks over the past month has a 631 slug, 25% K rate, and a ton of walks. He's a great defender. He's a lefty bat behind. I think he would pair very nicely with Ivan Herrera. I'm just going to keep talking about this. He keeps slugging, and I know there's swing and miss in the game, but 25% with that K rate with that kind of slug, I think you can play that all day, even if it jumps up in the bigs, knowing that he's a good defender, the power that he's showing. Have we talked? He doesn't wear batting gloves, Nate. I mean,
We
so many
we love
reasons,
that, don't we, folks? Yeah.
but
Yeah, I mean,
he's mashing it.
I think we're I think everyone is pretty aligned on we want Jimmy
It's a
Crooks to
matter
be
of
this
time, right?
catcher. Yeah, I think probably most Cardinal fans, at least I know for sure you and I are pretty aligned on this. We're ready for Jimmy Crooks to be the starter here, or at least in the timeshare with Herrera. Clearly the Cardinals want him to have more time to develop and make sure that approach is consistent. He was pretty rough at the major league level in his 50 plate appearances last year, and I'm sure they're thinking, let's not rush it. Enough guys have been rushed. Pagés is not a problem. He's not necessarily helping, but he's not a problem right now. Let's just let it ride and be 100% confident that Crooks is ready.
Yeah.
And I get it. I would prefer just bring him up. Let's get it going. But I guess I'll trust the process with this one.
Yeah, I think it's imminent. It's coming. It'll be here, and maybe it won't work. Who knows? But I'm very excited. All right, one last
Yeah.
player I wanted to talk about. You remember Nelson Velazquez, Nate? Remember him from spring training?
Yeah. Well, yeah, we spent like 3 episodes basically just talking about him, and then
Yeah,
poof, no
yeah.
more.
He went to AAA. He had a really, really rough start to the AAA season. But, Nate, since April 25th, he has been crushing in AAA. He has a 1,076 OPS since April 25th. He has 5 homers, 11 walks against 14 Ks. He's totally caught fire. Now, I don't know what we do with this information. I don't know where you would play him. He is a right-handed bat. We talked about the potential of what that could mean for the Cardinals all spring training. I wonder how much success he needs to have down there for the Cardinals to start talking about him coming up. He is technically an outfielder. He is not a very good outfielder, but
Yeah.
a right-handed bat, and especially with Newt coming back, you're looking at Newt, Scott, and Church all swinging from the left side. all being outfielders, do you want to swap one of those guys out for Nelson Velazquez, or do you just want a right-handed bat on the bench that isn't Pozo? I wonder where Velazquez is in the conversation. And either way, he's dominating right now.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if the Cardinals decide to carry both Church and Scott once Newt is like fully back up to speed. So that takes one of those guys out. I don't know who and what they do with the other one, but that's a conversation for a later day. But that might open the door for another quote unquote outfielder that's right-handed, that you could give him another shot or give him a shot at the majors. It's just hard to predict right now with the roster as is, really anyone other than Newt coming up and getting a ton of ABs. But obviously he's capable of something. It's just, is it capable at the major league level? We'd like to find out. But who you taking plate appearances from?
And it's you're not gonna. It doesn't make. I don't like the idea, is what I'm trying to say, of Ivan Herrera being in the outfield as your fourth outfielder, or right-handed desperation batter, or anything like that. So yeah, I don't know. It'll be an interesting conversation. I think if I had to bet money on it on Kalshi right now,
of course,
I would say Victor Scott is going to be option to AAA when Newt comes back. Just to, obviously they're working on offensive thing. They're working on things.
They're working on offensive thing.
Yep.
Where are his hands?
They're trying to figure out how to get him going. And maybe you do that at AAA. Maybe not, though.
Quick peek behind the curtain, too, for our video watchers. Hambone has magically transitioned to another location, still holding his mic in his hand. But now has a nice little brick wall behind him, I think. Yeah. Nice.
Are you not familiar with what bricks are?
Well, it seems to be some sort of alternating grid of brownish reddish with like some sort of white thing in between.
Very good bit.
Thank you. All right. Anything else, Hambone, before we move to the second half?
All I got for you, Nate.
All right. Well, we're going to talk about the upcoming series and a little bit of league news and, of course, play a little game. But before we do that, we want to remind our listeners that this show is listener supported on patreon.com. Patreon.com/talkingaboutbirds, where you can find all of the different tiers and different things we're bringing to you. Subscribers at any of the paid levels get access to early episodes. So they come out usually on Wednesday. So if that fits your schedule better, that might be appealing. We also have access to the Birdscord. That's our private Discord server. It's where we're live watching the games together. We're chatting throughout, at this point, basically every game. There's people in there commenting. It's just been a really fun way to watch the game and talk to other actual Cardinal fans and not just blasting stuff out into the void that is most social media. And a good resource, too, for staying on top of news as it breaks. It almost always ends up in the chat first. So check it out, patreon.com/talkingaboutbirds. And if none of that is appealing to you, but you just want to support the show, it's a great way to do it directly. You could also leave a review on your favorite podcast platform. That helps, as well as telling your friends and family and making sure to, if you're a first-time listener or a newer listener, make sure you hit that little subscribe button. Hambone, where else can people find us?
Yeah, you can find us on the social medias. We're on Blue Sky, Instagram, and TikTok. If you want to watch this episode and watch my background change a couple of times, you can check us out on YouTube, Talking About Birds on YouTube. You can find all of the podcast information, all of that stuff, T-shirts, more, at talkingaboutbirds.com. Of course, you can email us at talkaboutbirds@gmail.com. And as always, you can call us and leave a voicemail or send a text message to 848-48-BIRDS. That's 848-482-4737.
All right. So the Cardinals will finish up their series against the Pirates while this episode is being recorded and released. And then they will go to Cincinnati for 3 games. That ballpark, that team, kind of doesn't matter what or how the Reds are playing. These games are always dramatic. It's a small ballpark, lots of home runs. The Reds have been on quite a skid over the last month, as their pitching has dealt with injuries, and the high variance outcome of their lineup has swung, down in the direction of more strikeouts. But they're still quite a dangerous team. I think notably Elly De La Cruz is having an incredible season. He seems to be doing everything right now. And recently they called up JJ Bleday, who was not at all on our radar as a Red coming into the season. Called him up in late April, and he's been one of their best hitters. And especially in a ballpark like this, and the pitching staff that we have, I'm a little worried that these are going to be some 9-8 games, some 12-7 type affairs, which can be fun. But hopefully, we have the firepower to be on that higher end.
Yeah, I feel pretty good about the Cardinals. Like you coming into this series, the Cardinals are playing well, and like you said, the Reds have been skidding as of late. And we're going to draw what I think is a pretty good. Well, the fact that we're not having to face Chase Burns is really good.
Yeah,
and their bullpen has just been god awful. Like I agree with everything you said. Matt McClain, a name that you didn't say, that's been playing pretty well. But the Cardinals are going to draw Chris Paddock, who started the season with the Marlins. The Marlins dropped him, and then the Reds picked him up just as like a life preserver. It's going to be him on Friday against Kyle Leahy. Saturday, we got your favorite pitcher, Brady Singer, against Andre Palante, my favorite pitcher. And then the Sunday game is Nick Lodolo and Matthew Liberatore, two high variance lefty pitchers.
Yeah.
Who are probably good, maybe good. They can be good. But I like the Cardinals mostly because, like I said, that bullpen has just been atrocious for a while now. And that's really led to their skid, not to mention the pitching health and everything that they're dealing with right now. Eugenio Suarez is currently injured. Hunter Green has been down all year. Rhett Lauder, who was a fairly promising starting pitcher for them, has gone down. And one other player I want to call out, and that's just because the Cardinals, I don't believe we've seen him yet, but Sal Stewart is having a pretty nice start to the year, and I think is pretty legit and is going to be one of those guys that we're going to have to watch for a while. But yeah, they have some high highs on the offensive side. But all of those guys, including Elly De La Cruz, they're young and untested and very wily.
And our wily veteran rotation is really going to take advantage of their strikeout prone approach. Is that right?
I'm more meaning that consistency is hard to find. And, the Cardinals have been on the lucky side of that so far, but we'll see. I feel pretty good about going, mostly because of where the Reds have been for the past 20 games more than anything.
Yeah. They are the only team in the NL Central with a negative run differential. They are negative 33.
Yeah.
The Cardinals are +6 for reference.
Hey.
So, positive. So yeah, it should be a team that they can take advantage of. I am a pretty big fan of Nick Lodolo, but you said accurately he is inconsistent. He's still coming back from injury. Maybe they can get to him before he gets really into form. I suspect this team will bounce back at some point and swing back in the other direction. That's just the sort of team they are. It's going to be high variance. They are still technically over 500. Hopefully not after this upcoming series. But they can beat anyone if Elly and Sal and Bleday and McClain, like the lineup is good. So I suspect this is going to be high scoring affairs. But I also would take the Cardinals going in on this series.
Yeah.
After that, we continue our run through the NL Central, and the Cardinals will go against the first place Milwaukee Brewers. As it stands right now before the two Pirate games, the Cardinals are a half game back of the Milwaukee Brewers. So if it stays around there, a good series in Milwaukee could have the Cardinals ending next week, or at least our coverage period next week, in first place nearing the end of May, which would be fun. The Brewers, when we talk about run differential, they have one of the best in baseball with +70, and they're a pretty good team. Jackson Chourio is back and seemingly what we always expect him to be. So that'll be a thing to deal with. But what are we going to see from the pitching matchups?
Yeah, Monday night is going to be a lot of fun. We have Jacob Mierzewski, the Miz.
Good. Yeah.
He is very good. I believe he set a record for fastest or hardest fastball by a starting pitcher ever thrown, at least in pitch tracking era, a week or so ago against maybe the opposite pitcher in Michael McGreevy. So that should be an interesting matchup. But I think Mierzewski is, and this is not a bold take or anything like that, but he is amazing. He is a freak of nature. Hopefully he goes 5 and the Cardinals can get to their bullpen. Their bullpen's pretty good too. So we'll see what happens there. Game 2 Tuesday night is former top prospect Kyle Harrison and recent Milwaukee Brewers rehab project, who's been pitching pretty well, against Dustin May. That's Tuesday night. And then Wednesday we got Logan Henderson against Kyle Leahy. I don't really know much about Logan Henderson, if I'm totally honest with you.
He should be good. Young guy.
Yeah.
He should be good. Yet another. I mean, this weekend this series is a great example of what the stupid Brewers do well. Is they've got Mierzewski, Harrison, and Henderson. I think right now all 3 of them would be maybe the Cardinals' best pitcher. So it's tough.
This team, they're 30th in MLB with home runs. They have no power, but they get on base, they steal bases, and they strike you out like crazy. And that's how they've done what they've done. They manufacture runs, and they strike out everybody all up and down their bullpen, all up and down their rotation. They're a very good team.
Yeah.
They do it in an annoying way that is it's not a traditional offense, or at least a modern offense, but it is effective, and they are good at baseball.
Yeah, and some of those numbers too, like lower home runs. Yelich was out for a while. He can get behind one. Jackson Chourio can hit him. He's been out for the whole season. William Contreras, who can hit him, only has 4. So it's like a bunch of guys that should end the season with 20 to 25 or so are currently at like 0 to 4, so
Andrew Vaughn is healthy now.
Andrew Vaughn, you expect that to normalize at some point, just hopefully not this upcoming series against the Cardinals. All right, Hambone, let's move into a little bit of league news, but actually before we get to what you've prepared, a little peek behind the curtain. This has been a bit of a disjointed episode between dealing with Ben's giant hole and some things that I've had to do. We've had to start and stop a little bit, and in between the Ben didn't like that. The series segment, and now it's been announced that Busch Stadium is locking in the tarps off atmosphere, and they are officially designating the upper right field bleachers as a high energy area, and that any fan may go and be there at any time during the game, which I think is great. That's certainly a good way, I think, to seal the deal and allow for anyone to participate and keep it going. And it reminds me, you're going to hate this, but it reminds me of...
I already know what you're going to say. Footy.
Well, it's been a standard thing at soccer for a very long time. It's called the supporter section, and it's a key feature of live soccer, live football, and it makes the games more fun. Football, soccer, it's a little more, conducive to this sort of thing of people screaming the entire time and whatnot. But I think it's interesting, and I wonder if it's the start of something like that becoming more popular in the United States for baseball, as this is pretty normal in the rest of the world of people hooting and hollering an entire baseball game.
I kind of disagree with you. I think that baseball lends itself very well to this type of thing. There's action every 15-ish seconds. There's something to cheer for or hiss at, essentially, on that cadence. Go out there and get.
So I agree. I agree totally with what you're saying. I guess what I mean is that the traditional view on attending a baseball game is more like, it is a quieter, it's a thinking man's game, and And when your team is pitching, like, don't be too obnoxious and stuff like that,
But there is absolutely room for both of these to exist, I think.
Absolutely. Yeah. I agree. And I think, like, generally the stadium is probably big enough that, like, if you really don't want to deal with all of that, just sit on the other side, and I think it'll be okay. Like, even in football, if you're in soccer, if you're sitting on the other side of the supporter section, it's like a low hum, that is happening the whole time. I'm curious, are they going to start letting people bring in drums and horns and stuff like that happens in soccer.
That happens in Dominican in summer league and stuff, or winter league.
Vuvuzelas and all that, So I don't know, maybe, but I'm excited about it. We've said it a ton of times on this episode. I think it's great. I'm really hopeful that this creates a consistently more vibrant experience at the ballpark than what we've seen for a long time.
Yeah. And I want to just say, like, I don't know if it's just my level of pessimism or if the world has worn me down to believing this, but the fact that, like, people are having fun and an organization is reacting positively to it quickly. They've adjusted, very quickly to do something that the fans want in the span of, like, a handful of days is kind of awesome. So,
sure.
I think all of it is great. Love it.
Yeah.
Super fan of it. Won't be sitting out there myself.
Yeah, I know.
As I said previously.
Yeah, not actually for me, but also very into it,
Absolutely. Yeah. And you know what? I could see Benny has one too many Dr. Peppers, and he wants to go take his tarp off and hang out with the youngsters. Either way, I think it's great.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely, you said it before, but of the people that I know, I do put you pretty high up on the list of people that I think would end up in the tarps off section.
Yeah, let's be honest though, Nate. Those guys are gonna bully us. Okay, they're gonna give us wedgies. They're gonna give us noogies. They're gonna take our lunch money.
Now Nolan Gorman,
I know where we stand in the pecking order.
Yeah. All right, let's get through some other league news.
Not too much to talk about, but something that's kind of fun. The Mariners have promoted their extended super prospect Colt Emerson. Unfortunately, this timed out with Brendan Donovan going down on the IL. It seems like he's not going down for too long, but sad to see a former Cardinal, who, by the way, is just having like a really great season over there.
When he's been on the field, he's been
when he's been healthy. But he's been playing really well. But in more exciting news, Colt Emerson gets called up for the Mariners. My assumption is that he's called up there for the foreseeable future. Obviously, he already has that deal with the Mariners. And, of course, his first major league hit was a home run late in the game the night that he came up. And I thought that was pretty exciting. But another 20-year-old, Nate, in MLB this year. I feel like we've got to be getting close to a record, or it just feels like we have a lot of babies in the league right now.
They're taking their tarps off in the stands and they're hitting dingers in clutch moments. It's I don't know. I wonder, they're probably in like 1893, the entire league died in a bus fire, and so they were filled with like 17-year-olds for a week or something really silly, and that record will never be broken. But I'm sure I want yeah. It's classic way for entire teams to be wiped out in the late 1800s. All of their buses they had back then.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense.
Horse drawn.
Everything you're saying, I have no argument.
Thank you. So let's move on to the next one.
How to move on? I don't even know what to do. All right. Sorry, I was just trying to look it up. There are seven position players in MLB that are 21 years or younger right now.
Wow.
And Didier Fuentes of the Atlanta Braves is the only pitcher that is 21 or lower in MLB. All right. P. Crow Armstrong, PCA, superstar. Everyone loves him. He goes to the South Side. and gets into an argument after running full speed into the center field wall with a White Sox fan wearing a sport dress, which I don't know if you saw that video, but I found it very entertaining. PCA getting all mad. He has been fined an undisclosed amount of money stemming from that incident. He did not get suspended, which I did think he was going to get suspended. But he comes out, apologizes, says that he doesn't want to talk to anybody that way, let alone a fan. But a funny little incident. There is something to me very funny about a Cub going to the South Side and totally losing their cool, just playing into what they think about you, PCA. It's just too good.
I remember last year when he forgot how many outs there were and that whole thing too. He's a strange guy. He's been playing pretty well again, but strange guy.
Yeah. Talented, maybe odd player.
Yeah.
Anyways. All right. I thought it'd be fun to catch up on those two manager firings that we talked about a few weeks ago. And I think it's pretty funny how they've worked out. The Philadelphia Phillies are 16-5 since they got rid of Rob Thompson and Don Mattingly took over. So great move. Amazing
great move.
I can't believe Don Mattingly obviously pushing all the right buttons.
Yep. Came in. The team was broken and he was the glue, or he is the glue. Yeah, definitely not just a very good team reverting back to the mean after a rough start of 28 games or whatever. Definitely not that. No, it's got to be Mattingly, and the other guy was shit.
Yeah, I think Rob Thompson was telling Schwarber not to hit 20 home runs, and Don Mattingly told him to hit 20 home runs.
And Bryce Harper, you stop playing well. That's what he was doing. Yeah.
Something else funny about the Phillies is, I don't know if you remember this, but Dombrowski said in the offseason that Bryce Harper is not elite anymore, and Bryce Harper obviously took that, and it really hurt his feelings. And he's having a really good season.
Having a pretty good year.
He's having a pretty good, back. I don't know if he's back to his MVP levels. I think
that's elite though. I mean, Dombrowski might have been right, but it's a funny thing to say.
Pretty good. And then for the Red Sox, obviously they let go of Alex Cora on April 26th, and since then they are 11-10. So it goes without saying, obviously a terrible move. They don't know what they're doing over there. It's a total calamity. Why would you get rid of Cora? What a terribly constructed team.
Stupid. I can't wait for the Cardinals to acquire Sonny Gray and some sort of salary dump deal for one of our low minors pitching prospects.
It would be the funniest possible outcome for this season.
Yeah, it really would.
I mean, the betting odds alone would be insane. Sonny Gray is starting to turn his season around.
Yeah. They'll be like, can we have Yoiker back? And we'll be like, nope. We'll give you
Sonny Blaze.
Gray. Yeah, you can have Blaze.
All right. That's all the league news I got for you this week, Nathan.
All right, Hambone. So Cardinals are more powerful than we expected them to be this year. They're hitting far more home runs and just overall hitting the ball harder than we expected. And that's leading to more home run trots.
Wow.
We've enjoyed Jordan Walker's little pay me thing every time he hits a home run.
Very good.
We saw Ivan Herrera in his walk-off last night pointing to the Tarps off crowd, doing the thing, So we're seeing a lot of home run trots. Well, I found in StatCast, those things are actually measured. Did you know that we are tracking home run trots?
I did know this, and that's only because when the really long ones, really lackadaisical ones make it around baseball internet every once in a while.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that.
Totally. You know what else trots? A horse. So today we're playing another episode of Who Charted? Get on Your Horse edition. So
Wow.
what I have here, Hambone, is a list of the starting lineup, the main players on the team this year, and their
I can understand
average,
what a starting lineup is. Yeah.
Well, I should say starting lineup is maybe not I'll show you the list. So, the people who've played the most this year, what their average home run trot is. Okay. Now this is career.
Okay.
I have them ranked 1 through 9. I want to see if you can guess any of the top 3 as far as home run trot fastest.
Yeah. Did you see James Wood hit a inside the park grand slam yesterday? And I think it was 15 seconds around the bases.
Yes, he's good. He's
good.
So these are trots. I will tell you, no one is doing no one's number is 15 seconds.
Yeah.
And really, but from the top to the bottom, the gap here is 5 seconds. So these are pretty close. Mm-hmm. But there are some differences. So who do you think has the fastest home run trot?
Who do I think has it seems really easy to just pick the fastest guy on the team and say Victor Scott, but I'm guessing he's not. Even slow for him is probably faster than most people. But I feel like it's more of like it's more of a blue collar thing to, I'm just going to put my head down and run around these bases. Who's our blue? I don't know. We don't really have anyone that fits that. JJ's new. He's pretty fast and probably doesn't want to showboat. I'm going to go JJ Weatherholt is the fastest trotter of the group.
Hambone, you got it in one. He has the fastest trot at 20.78 seconds.
Yeah, it's not about him. He's just trying to get around those bases.
And he's markedly faster on that than anyone else. I think it is what you're saying too. He's like, just get it done.
Yeah.
All right. So you got the first overall. Who do you think is
next?
Yeah.
I don't know. This is really it's
almost impossible to truly.
Yeah, I was like faking my psychological breakdown of.
Well, you got it right with the mindset, So I will be clear here. This next grouping, they're all within like fractions of a second of each other. Yeah. But it's interesting.
I think I'm gonna go. I don't think that. No, this is not interesting. I'm going to go with Jordan Walker, and it's going to be based purely on stride length. His stride is twice of everybody else's. So give me J-Walk.
Jordan Walker is 4th fastest.
Okay. All right.
So just outside the top 3.
Okay.
At 23 minutes. Oh, 23 minutes.
Wow.
Imagine. 23 seconds, 23.44 seconds.
All right. I feel like Ivan, even though he's not a fast runner generally, I feel like he kind of puts his head down. And last night, I feel like he got around those bases pretty quick, but that was just because he was so excited. Give me Ivan Herrera.
Incorrect, Hambone. He is actually the slowest at 25.57 seconds.
Respect. That makes me like him more.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's a more than 5-second difference from top to bottom between JJ and Herrera.
Okay. Makes me want to go with somebody who maybe just doesn't hit him as often, and therefore I shouldn't be here. I shouldn't be on these bases. I'm going to run around quickly. I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm just fully guessing. Give me Pedro Pagés.
Pagés, is the 3rd slowest at 24.37 seconds. Yeah. All right, I'm going to give you the rest of the list here.
Because speed can't be an actual factor in this because they're all. Yeah. Anyways, go.
They're jogging bases. So from slowest to fastest, we've got Ivan Herrera, Victor Scott, Pedro Pagés, Alec Burleson, Masyn Winn, Jordan Walker, Nathan Church, Nolan Gorman, JJ Weatherholt.
Gorman, he's basically at full speed going around the bases on his jog. Yeah, man, I really can't express how useless of a stat or a conversation this was, but we know more now than we did previously.
Just keep an eye on it. Something to keep an eye on,
Is it though?
It's just a little something, a little thing to know about. And now you know it. So now that you know that, we can wrap up this episode.
And now that you know that.
Yep.
That's
best
the name of
conversation
another
we've had about
podcast, right?
horses. Now you know that. This is the best conversation we've had about horses in the last 2 weeks. And that's going to do it for this week's episode. Thank you, everyone, for listening. As always, please remember to check out the links to everything at talkingaboutbirds.com. And, of course, checking out the Patreon at patreon.com/talkingaboutbirds. Thank you to the patrons. We truly appreciate it. And if you're considering joining it, now is a great time. Get in the Birdscord. We'll be back next week after these interdivision games. We'll see. Maybe next week we'll be talking about your first place St. Louis Cardinals. I don't know. I'll be at the game tonight. Tarp firmly on, but I'm looking forward to it. First game of the year. And until next week, go Cardinals. Go Cardinals.